Okay, Sistas fans, well, yeah, this is almost a week late, but, what can you do about Rona? Alright, we're talking Sistas Season 5, Episode 17, Looks Are Deceiving, but if you follow me on Twitter or if you joined the live stream last Wednesday, I wasn't crazy about this episode, -5 out of 10. I actually rewatched it Sunday morning to see how I felt about it. Okay, it's been a few days, maybe my thoughts have changed, but yet again, we're just seeing a lot of these characters at their worst, and the opening scene between Zach and Fatima really showcased that. Remember when Zach and Fatima would only make maybe 3 to 5 minute appearances per episode, and Sistas fans were, oh, we want more Zatima. I watch 36 minutes of nonsense just to see the Zach and Fatima moments. But now, since we get them a lot more in Season 5, these scenes do nothing to really help the characters in terms of their relationship develop. It's just really a lot of nonsense. And this opening scene really showcases how Tyler Perry ruined a once fine dynasty that was the relationship of Zach and Fatima. Not perfect, but a hell of a lot better than it is now. So, Fatima just goes all the way off on Zach over this dang photo. Even when he tries to, I might do a breakdown of this one scene, but it's just so cringe to sit through. And it's not the acting. It's the way the characters are I know it sounds like, an oxymoron or something, but it's not Crystal and Naval's acting. It's the way the characters are acting that makes me go, are we really this far gone with Zach and Fatima? Or more specifically, Fatima, where she doesn't want to hear anything Zach has to say. The fact that over the past few episodes, Andy and Fatima have acted like it is not within Karen's nature to play mind games. I really don't know where that came from, and I hate that Tyler Perry inserted that into the story, because, need I remind you, last season, Karen put all the pawns into play, mainly Andy, to get Fatima to come over to her place with all the other girls to reveal a pregnancy to hopefully embarrass and hurt Fatima. And Andy caught on way too late. At the point where Fatima was already on the elevator up and she couldn't stop it from happening. And that was just like one example. Not to mention, who knows how many games she played with Zach, and she, talked about this kind of stuff with Andy off screen over the 3-year relationship they had prior to episode 1. So for Andy, Fatima to ask the question to Andy, would Karen set up something like this? And Andy's like, no, I know Karen, she wouldn't do that. And I'm just thinking, like, what world do you live in? And even more frustrating is later on in the episode, and it's something I've been talking about for months, where Fatima will go off on Zach, and then they'll, break apart. They'll separate. And I'm not talking about a breakup, but, they'll go their separate ways, to cool off. Fatima will always have, like, a calm, collected conversation with Angela or Andy. And then when she calms down, she never apologizes to Zach for not giving him the benefit of the doubt. When Zach goes, she hugged me. It's not what it looks like. I didn't kiss her or whatever. Well, why would she hug you then? And I'm thinking to myself, what's that supposed to mean? Yeah, they're on good terms and whatnot, at least seemingly from that one scene at the salon. But, you hugged in. Sure, given the fact that, you had a deep conversation about letting go of your past with him and whatnot, but why did you hug him or vice versa? It's just really ridiculous. But my favorite part about this scene, it's the fact that, Fatima's talking now like, watch your tone, do this, do that. And I'm just like, well, look at all the accusations you're throwing his way. How would you expect him to react when he's trying to tell you the truth? And the highlight of this scene was when Zach wanted to walk away, and then Fatima grabbed his arm and he kept asking her to let go. But then it got to the point where he just wanted to leave. She kept saying, we're not finished talking about this. And the fact that he brought up the gym from earlier in the season, where he did the same thing, he grabbed her by the arm so they can talk about it, but she's like, let me go, Zach, or I'm going to tear this whole place up. And then she finally let go. That was the only part of this scene I liked, where he rightfully called her out for not keeping the same energy. And not to mention with the energy she was giving off, I didn't want to be around that. I wouldn't want to be around that either. So let's just fast forward through various scenes of the episode. Zach finds his way to the salon and he goes off on Pam about the whole situation. And what does she do? Classic Pam. She just laughs it off. It's like, oh, I can't believe somebody would do that. And also, for those wondering, oh, Pam's an instigator. She's nosy. She took the photo. She did not have anything in her hands when Zach and Karen were hugging. She was off to the sidelines. Her hands were empty. It was not Pam. I did a video on this a while ago. But basically, Zach is going off and he wants her to call Karen because, you know, she just knows that they went to dinner and she doesn't tell Zach where. So he grabs the salon phone and dials the number. And we see that Karen and Aaron, you know, are sitting down ordering their food. And Zach pretty much questions her about the photo. But it's just one of those things where, well, actually, no, not about the photo, but if he would have asked her about it over the phone, that may have saved some issues. He basically says, you know, where are you? I need to talk. And he makes his way to the restaurant saying, don't go anywhere. Pam gets on the phone to just say, like, look, I don't know what's wrong, but with his attitude, I think you need to run. But Karen isn't budging. And as soon as she gets off the phone, I mean, look, it's debatable as to whether or not Karen did set up the whole photo thing. But I feel like if, believe what you want, but in terms of the scene at the restaurant or the upcoming scene at the restaurant, Karen knew what was going to happen. Karen knows Zach. So based on his demeanor over the phone, as well as the past altercations with Aaron, she knew the drama was about to unfold. And the funny thing was, Aaron's like, look, should we go? Because I want you to have a drama-free night. Oh, no, it's no drama. And she made it clear, no, I just want to sit here and order this fish. She knew what was going to go down. She knew Zach was going to make a scene. She knew it was going to escalate. And also think of it this way. This is the second time Zach has called her because he has wanted to see her, not the other way around. And Karen is probably open to taking any opportunity to be around Zach, especially if he's the one initiating the encounters. Just keep that in mind. So, over at the law firm, Robin goes over to Andy's office to thank her once again for the hookup to the loan shark, and basically makes another pathetic attempt to ask her out to dinner. And they go to the steam plant, and it's only for one drink. And it's kind of funny because this guy brings up the fact that, oh yeah, you know, this guy that you owe 2 major favors to, he even offers to drive her there, but she says, I got it, I'll drive myself. But it is brought up that tomorrow, because he has the money, he's going to call a meeting with all the partners and whatnot, as well as the, you know, new partners due to the contract, aka Gary and his crew. So Andy wants to be there for it, so please don't start the meeting until after I get to work in the morning, because she wants to see the look on Gary's face when Robin drops the bomb that he has the money, meaning that he won't get kicked out of the company. So we get over to possibly one of the worst scenes of the episode, Preston and Danny. You know, Danny gets home. It's the same old. Hey, I cleaned, I cooked dinner. How was your day? And we get to the whole Preston is a broken record because he doesn't understand why Danny doesn't love him the way that he loves her, and why they can't get married. Which, I mean, there are so many reasons these two should not be married. So there is not enough time in a day to talk about all the reasons why Danny and Preston just wouldn't work. At least not right now. They got a lot of growing to do. But the thing is, Danny was making the most sense out of this entire scene. For a majority of this scene, she was the one who was making sense. But then it slowly deteriorated into nonsense. And it just makes you wonder what Tyler's doing when he writes the scenes. So, a couple weeks ago, Danny said, I love you. Now, I really, really like you. Or, yes, okay, I do love you, but not how you love me. Okay, that makes sense. But then Preston, all of a sudden, it just turns into a scenario where Number one, where did the whole marriage idea come from? It just came completely out of left field. Number two, it's almost built up like he thinks of marriage as something to, I don't know, check off his to-do list, because he just gets to the point where he's talking about how, being married is better than being single and alone for the rest of your life. But then Danny's retort is, well, it's better than being married to the wrong person. And then here's when things, really just take the turn when Danny doesn't. Oh, no. Okay. I kind of get where she's coming from here, but it just feels weird. So she makes the point that, it's not fair because, you use this other woman to create ultimatums to control my decision. Like, if I don't marry you, then what? You're just going to go back and marry that Mindy? And then he's like, well, she isn't you. She doesn't do the things for me that you do and this, that, and the third. So basically, Danny says no. He'll get Mindy, who will say yes. Okay. Then she says another reason she doesn't want to be married is it wouldn't allow her to be her true self. It wouldn't allow her to have the space she has now. Basically, hot girl summer thought being in the streets. Let's just be blunt about it. She just wants to sleep around, have fun. And remember what happened, or almost happened, the last time she did that? She almost got killed and then almost killed the guy. So yeah, keep it up, Danny. Keep living that hot girl summer life and see where it gets you. She also mentions how marriage will make her feel like a possession. And it's just one of those things where I don't know. I mean, Preston goes on to say, look, I've been around, I've been out there, and there's nothing, I want to get married to you. And I'm thinking Danny just does nothing but display street tendencies. And I'm thinking Danny hasn't shown herself to be the quality kind of woman that you want to settle down with. So if Preston has, quote unquote, been out there and seen everything that's out there, he must have been looking in the wrong places, because you're telling me none of the black females we seen him, quote unquote, dating last season were any better than Danny. I mean, he even said himself, why was it so easy with these other women? We're able to talk, get to know each other, but with you, it's a fight every step of the way. So then things just get to the point where, it's like, hey, can we talk about this in the morning? But Preston's like, I'm going to leave in the morning. We can talk then. And instead of staying the night to eat dinner, he just decides to leave. And he'll probably be back that tomorrow morning to talk with her, I guess. But it doesn't really matter at this point. And I mean, Tyler just seems to really be laying it on thick with her getting high and whatnot. I mean, yes, that's always been part of her character. But it's just getting ridiculous at this point where it's hard to take Danny seriously. Yes, there are times where she drops a lot of gems when she's high. But for her to just be acting so, well, for lack of a better word, high makes just, it's ridiculous. Like when Preston was leaving and trying to give her a hug, it's like she wasn't even there, So it's just one of those things where I really wish he would have a better balance of comedy and seriousness with the Danny character. But that's just, we're past the 100th episode. If you don't know who these characters are by now, I don't know what to say for you. It's like, I don't even know why I even expect more when I know it's never really going to change. Also, there's a phone call between Andy and Danny later on where Andy's shocked about the whole proposal, but then Danny's like, I ain't feeling him like that. I just want to get laid. And Andy, makes it clear for Danny not to let home any strays, but we know Q's coming over at some point, guys. We know Q is coming over there. Also, Robin and Andy make their way to the steam plant, and, they just sit down at the bar, and they pretty much talk about the situation about, oh yeah, one drink, and pretty much, they have a toast. And Robin, again, it's just sad and pathetic at this point, the way he's trying to get Andy to give another chance, but it's like, okay, well, here's a toast to forgiveness. And she's like, oh, who says you were forgiven? And I'm like, didn't you say right after he gave you that $1.5 million that you're cool again? But she's still playing it like, oh, well, I'm still burned by you, so I don't really trust you like that, Robin. You'll never get back to me the way you were. Which is weird because in the scenes between these two, especially in this episode, you have that kind of upbeat light-hearted music, which kind of indicates, kind of a playfulness between the two that I don't really recall hearing between Andy and Gary in the past several episodes during any of those scenes. So whatever, Andy says we should toast to, just success and being, in charge of the company thanks to the loan you got and whatnot. And she gets a bunch of phone calls at this point, one from Fatima about the situation involving the photo and Zach and her having a big fight. And then from there, she goes over to Karen and she hands her the paperwork from Zach's lawyer. And she pretty much tells Karen, why did you sign him? Like, before I got to see him. But in any case, they have a brief moment where they walk to the side to talk. And Karen tells her about the fact that Zach is coming. And if you know anything about it, it's like, no, I don't. Like, I'm honestly just here for a drink. I didn't even know you were going to be here. Are you lying to me? It's just the self-importance and the entitlement that I can't stand about Karen. It's like, she has to know why the move everybody makes. Already categorizing herself into the victim here. You knew I was going to be here, huh? You knew Zach was coming, huh? No. Andy was better off and that's the one thing about Andy, I will say. She would have been better off putting her phone on silent and not even going over there to Karen on her dinner. I don't even want to say a date, but her dinner with Aaron. She would have been better off. That way, when stuff goes down, she truly has an alibi of, I have no idea why Zach is coming here. Fatima, I didn't know you were showing up. So instead, Andy, it's like the more she fights to stay out of the love trauma triangle, whatever you want to call it, the more she finds herself involved in it. So from there, good Lord, we go over to Bio, who kind of like, with Zach telling Fatima about the gym thing to get her to back off. This was my other favorite scene of the episode. The fact that Sabrina lets him in, explains the situation with Q and Maurice, and he's like, no, because the way you describe Maurice, dating that man, that's not where I come from. That's not a good person. And thank goodness Tyler Perry did not go the route I was thinking he was going by making Bio homophobic. It's like, no, it's not him seeing another man that makes him not a good person. It's the fact that this man is a robber or bank robber. And recall that Q first interacted with Maurice after, the fact that he stole Calvin's bank book. So right off the bat, who was a thug, a thief, or whatever. So from there, Bio's like, yeah, this is awkward. I ought to leave, but I do want to see you again. And Sabrina's like, I like that, but I'm focused on the Maurice thing now. So it's not a guarantee that these two will see each other again, but he is in season 6. Bio is in season 6. So it is possible that he and Sabrina might have another date in the future. But the Maurice thing is the first priority on her mind right now. So as he leaves, Calvin shows up. And he's like, hello and goodbye. And then, Calvin's in his feelings about it. But, she makes it clear that he has money and it's legit, but he won't help. So from there, they just spend way too much time brainstorming ideas. They get Maurice on the phone, but, he showed, and that's another thing I hated. Maurice gets on the phone with these two, has another attitude. And I'm just thinking to myself, this pretty much just goes against Andy telling his butt off the previous week. Because Maurice is going off on the only couple of people who give a damn about him enough to actually be trying to get him out of jail. And then when it gets to the point of, you know what, forget it, I'll get myself out. And I'm thinking, first of all, you have no way of getting the $1.5 million. And the only way for you to get out right now is if you sign that confession against Sabrina. So then we get to a point where I'm guessing we're going to see a dissension of sanity here, where Maurice is slowly going to deteriorate mentally and break, because he gets off the phone and it's like, okay, he's acting weird. What's up with that? And recall that his own father, hung himself. So it's like, are we going to see a Kelly from If Loving You Is Wrong, where Maurice tries to take his own life because he can't stand being locked up, despite the fact that it's only been, 3 days or so? I don't know. This is just a waste of time, if you ask me. So the other scene to talk about really is Fatima related, where she's talking with Angela about the whole thing, about the picture, and it's just really stupid. Angela, oh, you know what? I should have never shown you that photo. And Fatima's like, no, you did the right thing. And it's just crazy to me because I confronted him about it, and, he didn't even tell me the full story. And I'm like, well, Fatima, you didn't either. He asked you where the photo came from, how you got it, yet you said that's not important. And it's like, you're omitting a very important detail, because this could definitely add more perspective on it of Zach being at the salon and like, well, I don't remember seeing anybody familiar or anybody taking a photo. You decided to believe the word of your friend of a friend of a questionable photo instead of your own man. So it's just one of those things where I don't like Fatima this season. I really don't. And it's sad. And Angela, you're the instigator, and now you're trying to be like, oh no, I shouldn't have done this. Too late now. Shut up. So from there, we have a scene which I do admit I did laugh at, where Fatima's like, I'm just going to sit here and wait. You know what? Bump that. I'm going to the restaurant. So that's pretty much it. So the episode ends with Zach showing up to the restaurant, and he's asking Karen about the picture. She's acting dumb. What picture? And look, this is very divisive here, and I'll do a separate video on it. I didn't like how Zach approached the situation. And then people were like, Aaron needed to butt out. If he didn't say anything, if he didn't keep interrupting, Karen could have answered the question. She wasn't going to answer the question. Also, let me just... If you were on a date, or whatever, let's say you were out with somebody, in the middle of your dinner, movie, whatever you're doing, this person's ex shows up with an attitude and starts going back and forth with your date. And in the midst of you two trying to leave the situation, this person grabs their ex by the arm. What would you do? Would you just sit there and just let the whole thing happen, or were you interject to try to de-escalate the situation? Yes, I know Aaron can be intrusive, but based on how Zach approached the situation, I'm fully on board with the way Aaron handled it. Him just sitting there would have been ridiculous in my mind. Because if that were you, if you were Karen in that situation, forget about whether or not she orchestrated the photo. Forget about her, potentially just sitting at the restaurant hoping to see Zach because he said it was coming. Let's just say you were in Karen's position. You were out on a date with somebody, and your ex out of the blue came to start some drama. Would you want your date to intervene, or would you just handle it yourself? And I'll leave it at that. So then the episode ends with Zach and Aaron getting into the fight. So I really didn't like this episode. I really didn't. If you saw, like I said at the beginning, if you saw my live stream, then you know why. This season is just killing these characters. I mean, what some of my grandma and my mom used to say is like, they're as dead as they got to die. And that goes for a lot of these characters in their sorry ass storylines. So let's talk about it more in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.